Hi everybody, what is it? It's July 17. We're almost through July. Oof. Okay, July 17, 2024. I really hope that you're all doing well. I know some of you are not. And I'm very sorry. Boy, do I wish that there was something that I could do. I wish everybody could just be, helped with, you know, what they need help with. And it's very hard. Alicia, hello. Analog Synth Player, Andrew Cruz, Michael Mossberg, hello. Julio, Sandra, Rage Against the Machine, hey. And Outlaw Biker and Sith Trish, and oh, I didn't even have my mic in front of me, I'm sorry. Angelos, hello. I hope you guys heard me, maybe you didn't, but there's such a delay that I don't even know if you guys know that I've started already. Yeah. Hypocrites Matrix, hey. So, just in case you didn't hear me because I had the mic over there turned to the wall, I know that some of you are not doing well, and you're in my thoughts. I wish there was something I could do. I wish that everybody just could get their needs met, and then they take it from there, but that doesn't seem the way things are going. Doesn't seem to be the way things are going. And that is heartbreaking, and I'm really sorry. And one comment that I wanted to read that was underneath the live after it posted last night, I did take a capture of it, but the comment now is gone. So I have to wonder if they took it down because they decided they didn't want the comment. So I can't read that comment. I won't do that. I don't know why the comment just disappeared. But, one reason could be the commenter took it down themselves. But it really highlighted what an awful lot are going through, what the commenter is going through. Yeah, it's a very difficult time for an awful lot of people. So, on that note, hello, Alicia and Analog Synth Player and Andrew Cruz and Michael Mossberg and Julio, Sandra, Rage Against the Machine, Oracle 11, Hypocrites Matrix, Outlaw Biker, Sith Trish, hello. Barb in Ohio, Angelos, Genesis, Tony Punch, hey. James B, Agnes and BMCC, hello. Okay. Not very many in the chat tonight, which is fine. But I do want to thank, and I don't know if I did this, but it doesn't hurt to thank somebody twice. Sandra, thank you for the donation, and Phoebe, thank you for the donation. I usually write down the last or the first letter of the last name, and for some reason I didn't, so I apologize. But I also want to thank Roberta K and GJ. Thank you. Much appreciated, the donations. Not embarrassed to say they're much needed, so they are very much appreciated and certainly not taken for granted. I wish I had more and more and more and more and more so that I could help subscribers out. This has been the lowest in terms of donations, money for me, and I hate it. I hate it because for years I always, spread out pay it forward to subscribers, and it upsets me greatly that I've not been able to do that. So, yeah. Elizabeth Rivard, hi. Julie, hello. I'm sure I've missed people. I've been going back and forth. Luigi, hello. Silent Walk, hello. Genesis, I don't know. Maybe I said hello. If not, hello. So, yeah, weather warfare every single day and night, mostly at night, which is interesting, right? So let's just take a look at radar. I looked at this a couple of hours ago, and it was pretty much right here from where my arrow is. This entire area was filled with activated nanobots that came together and made an awful lot of weather fronts. The tornado alerts have expired, which is good. And going into Nebraska again, going into Kansas again, Colorado. And look at these extremely low frequencies blasting away in Southern California. This is very dangerous. It's dangerous for everybody around there all life. And for sure, it's also dangerous because they can create landslides. They can create soil movement, land movement. Oh, it happens to be what Los Angeles area is experiencing. And people are losing their homes via that method. So, yeah. Good. Well, okay. All tornadoes have expired, but look at this list of severe weather in Delaware, in Georgia, in Kansas, in Massachusetts, in Maryland, in Montana, in North Carolina, in New Hampshire, South Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. You gonna tell me? This is an everyday occurrence now. We've got severe weather going on somewhere, but in an awful lot of places in this country. And the severe weather is producing very destructive storms, power outages, tornadoes, flooding, hail, which is damaging, destroying a whole lot of people's homes, businesses, and it just goes on. So I'm going to put the link in. I'm not going to go through all of the counties. I do want to just check out. Okay. I just wanted to check out some of the counties in Georgia and South Carolina for my own personal reasons. But the severe weather tracker the link is in the chat. And let's just get to that fabulous severe weather. Flooding causes damage near small Arkansas towns. This came about last night.
The whole town of Yellville is flooded over there, boys. That's the back side of the square back there, where a lot of the water's coming from. Pretty bad out here right now.
Hi, Mama Rages. You were just watching a video, of a bunch of horses being saved from a big flood. Wow. 2 Utah homes give way to wet, saturated soil. Just takes wet, saturated soil now. People losing their homes, thousands without power after now it's 11 tornadoes touchdown in Chicago area. 11 tornadoes. And don't question it. Stay focused on what you're being told by mainstream media reporters and meteorologists, okay? It's climate change. Stay focused. Stay laser focused. Believing lies. American exceptionalism.
Good morning. Well, ComEd's been updating their numbers every 15 minutes, and the latest is 79. Good morning. Well, ComEd's been updating their numbers every 15 minutes, and the latest is 79,000 outages. But that's throughout northeastern Illinois. Here in Chicago, they're at 2,200, and it's still pretty hot and humid overnight, so people do want their power back. Skinner Park in the West Loop, that's where we are right now. There's a lot of damage here. It's the scene of destruction from a verified tornado. The National Weather Service says it was an EF1, and it uprooted trees right here, just like we see in the suburbs. It was one of 2 tornadoes to touch down in Chicago, and EF1 means it reached 95-mile-an-hour winds Monday night. The Weather Service tracked it over a 3-mile stretch from west of Western Avenue to east of the Kennedy Expressway.
Yeah, trees down, trees hitting homes, and I don't want to forget this, but okay. I'm going to try this. What am I doing? Oh.
HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project and is described as a research
Okay. Artificial cloud proof, you'll see all of the lithium and the aluminum and the barium, how they can use that to create artificial clouds. Heat waves already, and all you need to know that it's temperature modification induced by man. So Lori, sorry you couldn't find it, but there it is. The link is in the chat. There you go. So,
Jeff, she said the worst event in Rome history, as you heard, but she also said perhaps one of the worst disasters in upstate New York ever. And I will say there's been an impressive amount of work in the last 26 or so hours to get the roads of downtown cleaned up, but you still have sites like this that just speak to the volume of this tragedy and the strength of those winds. St. Mary's Church, the steeple collapsing into the roof. This building likely having to be taken down. A historic landmark of Rome is no more. While downtown, though, is getting all this attention because it's so populated, neighborhoods in South Rome were hard hit too. People still without power there, and that's where I spent some of today. Ann Van Driesen's once meticulous backyard was known throughout the neighborhood.
I just loved mowing it and trimming and my flowers. It's all gone. I'm sorry.
I hate seeing this. I hate seeing this. A whole lot of people don't give a shit. They're like, oh, well, they're just so stupid, they deserve it. I don't feel that at all. Not at all. Not at all. So, more destruction in New York, upstate. Suburban residents, that's the coffee maker, by the way, sorry. Suburban residents recall a night of devastating damage from winds and tornadoes, and this is in the Chicago suburbs.
The National Weather Service did confirm it was at least an EF0 tornado that touched down here last night. At a nearby apartment complex, there are nearly 24 people displaced tonight after the roofs on their buildings were ripped off.
I went into my bathroom window and I opened it and I just saw the whole tornado just going when the lightning lit up the sky. If there would have been no lightning, I would have not seen it coming.
Jonathan Orellano woke up his wife and kids, telling them to get to safety. They live on the top floor of this Broadview apartment building at 25th and Roosevelt.
When I picked my dog up and I tossed him, that's when the debris fell, so it just hit me all on my back, like top of my shoulder. And like I said, my thought was just keep running.
A portion of the roof ripped off and landed on top of several cars parked behind the building, including his son's.
It was just debris everywhere. Out front, they had it roped off where the tree fell down. So yeah, it was really bad.
Significant damage in Will County as well, in Shorewood and Joliet.
Lights flickered, house shook, grabbed our kids and ran to the only bathroom without windows.
Powerful winds picked up Yvette Barrera's garage and dropped it at a 45-degree angle, a tree also landing on top of her roof.
We have a lot of down wires right now. We want everyone to treat those wires as if they're live.
Some residents also dealing with flooding after all the heavy rain.
The basement obviously lost power, so we have no sump pump, lost flooding, couldn't get the generator out here in time.
Will County officials say thousands in the area are without power.
We have about 32 communities and almost all of them were hit in some way.
Right now that it's starting to settle in, it becomes emotional. All I have is this, my shorts, my shoes.
Those affected by the powerful storm picking up the pieces.
Picking up the pieces. Do you know thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people are picking up the pieces as I speak. This is a daily occurrence now in an awful lot of areas, daily, which means that, well, just the month of July, add up the numbers.
There is a lot of concern here because some of the people who live here already have health issues and management is working to make sure they're safe. The clubhouse is the only place where Ivy Point seniors are keeping cool. It's stuffy in here.
Oh yeah, can you imagine trying to sleep here?
Steve Smith hasn't had power in his apartment for 9 days. Your thermostat here says 90 degrees. Smith and other residents are sleeping in the clubhouse. Management has been going door to door checking on neighbors still staying in their rooms.
I think people are suffering from maybe not something major, but just worn out and it's hot. The heat is a big problem.
Smith's daughter Lori is also without power in the Woodridge Forest neighborhood.
We have a small generator, yes. So we have a small generator and a portable AC unit, and we just keep that going constantly. We never turn that off. We understand hurricanes happen, power outages happen, derechos happen. We lost power for several days in May, and this happens a lot, and we just want transparent communication from CenterPoint.
Well, wouldn't it be fabulous to have transparent communication, clear communication from just everybody? It seems that we have a communication breakdown in our country. That is very disturbing. In some broadcast I heard, Governor Greg Abbott is going to do an investigation, another investigation on the energy companies in Texas. Another one, right? How about how cold it got and you lost energy and then people were dying and you had an investigation. You're going to have another investigation. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I think it's time for people. To start demanding. You come together in big numbers, and you demand of your servants. They're your servants, right? You pay them their salary, and they live fabulous lives while you get shit on all the time. Do you think maybe we need to think of something to do here? It's just amazing. Tucson family without home after storm destroys it. One of many damages from monsoon. Monsoon? Straight line winds? Monsoons are heavy rains. Okay. Just believe whatever you're told. Because the TV's telling you. No, the computer screen, your cell phone is telling you. Believe it.
Sean and Monica, many Tucsonans are still coping with the aftermath of Sunday's powerful monsoon storms. I'm outside the home of Alex Lewis, which is located on the Del Norte Mobile Home Estates community. It's just off Limberlost Drive and First Avenue. You can see behind me the home is covered in a huge tarp because a tree fell on top of it. Thankfully, nobody got injured.
I really thought he was dead.
A tree fell on Alex Lewis's Tucson.
My mic wasn't even on. I want to know what this is. I don't like tattoos. The designing of bodies that you can never wash off. Okay. Some tattoos, I have to wonder, what is that? Anybody know what that is? I mean, trying to understand. What is that? Okay, let's just move on. I'd love to hear what you think it is. I mean, my God, I'm even going to do an up close. I have no clue. All right, well, sorry, but I don't think it looks fabulous, but let's move on.
A tree fell on Alex Lewis's Tucson home and landed in her brother-in-law's bedroom. He was at work when the storms rolled in.
So my fiance and I, we were taking a nap in the room, in our back bedroom.
Lewis's 4-year-old daughter was here in the living room with her grandfather and rushed to her mother's side when the power went out.
I pick her up, and not 30 seconds later, You hear the loudest crash you've probably ever heard.
She says the tree nearly missed her daughter, who was standing right here. The family says this fallen tree has literally uprooted their lives.
I've never experienced a natural disaster like this, which is crazy because I lived in Kansas.
Fallen trees also damaged 2 homes at Silverbell West, a 55-plus community. It's off Silverbell Road near St. Mary's Hospital.
We had 4 Aleppo pine trees come down. 3 of them came down on one building and 1 on another building.
The man who lives here did not want to identify himself or go on camera, says he was inside when the tree landed on his home.
It was raining very, very hard.
Yeah.
And you could barely open the wrought iron door. The wind was pushing it.
Every year it is worse. So yeah, it's a concern. We have a lot of trees in here.
No word yet on the cost of the cleanup and repairs at Silverbell West. For the Lois family, they're trying to sort out things with their insurance company.
As of right now, it looks like the insurance isn't going to do anything to help us.
Insurance isn't going to do anything to help them. People are saying that was their paper clips. Their paper clips. Somebody tattoos above their eye paper clips. Is that like a symbol of something? Crazy. Let me just knock off some of these. Here. North Carolina farmer cannot sell his crop. PFAS contamination. Oh boy, we sure did get ourselves in a position where government officials can come in and say anything to shut you down, and it's going on.
Hey guys, welcome back to As a Man Thinketh on UNASA TV. A North Carolina farmer cannot sell his crops due to PFAS chemical contamination.
We're hearing from a farmer in New Hanover County whose produce is now left to rot after their water source was linked to PFAS. The area is one of 47 drinking water systems with concerning levels of PFAS. The source of that contamination, the chemical company Chemours.
All right, I'll put the link in. You can listen to more. No, it didn't look like a paper clip to me. Yeah, well, another farmer shut down. The Forever Chemicals. You should be able to sue the companies that have unleashed all of these chemicals that are so dangerous, that are destroying farmers, right? You won't be able to. Why is bread in USA so bad and unhealthy? Shopping with Dr. Dan.
Physician. Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how difficult it is, almost impossible, to buy good, high-quality, healthy bread in the United States. Now, I'm currently in the northeast part of the USA, and I'm in a parking lot, and I'm outside a very popular chain grocery store, which is known as one of the better, healthier, and supposedly stores with the biggest variety of products. And I'm going to show you just how tough it is to buy healthy bread. Now, most people out there consume bread. I will admit I'm not a big bread person myself, but I do buy bread, and I want high quality, healthy bread. I do not want trash added to the bread. Unfortunately, nowadays, bread is statistically one of the most heavily processed foods you can buy. It is not what it was a few decades ago, which poses a huge problem. Look no further than what's happened to bread if you want to know the reason for America's metabolic health catastrophe. What's happened with type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, other chronic diseases, inflammation. Look at what's happened to bread, because this is a staple food and has been for a long time. Even going back thousands of years, bread has religious connotations. It's mentioned in many world religions, including in the Bible, because it was considered to be pure. But what have we done nowadays under the influence of food corporations, those greedy corporations that will do anything to sell products and make them as addictive as possible, adding many chemicals to them? we have completely adulterated bread. And hopefully by now you know the gist of what is good healthy bread and what is not good healthy bread. You want bread with whole written in front of it, whatever it is, whole wheat, etc. And you also want bread with the least added ingredients. You want it unrefined. When I'm shopping for bread, there's certain things I want and don't want. I do not want added sugars, and I do not want added seed oils, also known as vegetable oils, which is a marketing ploy. Vegetable oils are not from vegetables, they are from seeds. I also want to avoid other preservatives, additives, and chemicals.
All right, so the link I'm going to put in the chat again. It's very hard, very, very difficult now to buy anything that is healthy. Okay? That upsets me. That really upsets me. I loved to cook. I cooked from scratch. I was in the restaurant business. I did some catering. I loved dinner parties. I loved cooking, and I would always cook more so that when friends would come over, I always had something to offer them. No more. No more. Why are you saying no sound? Maybe the delay is like 10 minutes. I don't know. But I have my mic on, so there should be sound. So yeah, it is incredibly upsetting to have to live life now. You go shopping and you have no clue what the hell you can buy anymore that is going to be good for you. Canada, Toronto got hit hard. You know, southern Ontario got hit hard.
Heavy rain caused flooding and power outages in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
And I always think it's very interesting to see all of that massive, oh my God, the drainage system overwhelmed, and it's pushing up all of that water.
Ontario, Canada. Heavy rain caused flash flooding in Toronto, causing major disruption to the city. Power outages affecting 123,000 people. Travel delays and street flooding were reported.
Bad weather report.
Around the world, heavy rainfall is becoming more common due to climate change, putting severe strain on infrastructure that in many cities is not designed to withstand heavy and prolonged downpours, meteorologists say.
Well, the evil have a great advantage over us, you know. Because there are so many people who just can't imagine that we have so many evil people out there, that we have so many liars out there pushing, you know, this false narrative and not telling the truth about weather being used as a weapon to destroy us all. And there are so many people who just won't get off the lies. That's the hardest thing. for me.
As Tuesday's heavy rain came down hard, water levels crept up quickly, raising anxiety for those stuck on flooded roads, like the couple in that Volvo, Tammy Chan and her husband.
He was saying that we need to go through quickly. We cannot stop.
The Chans tried to make it but couldn't.
As we were waiting, we just saw water rising. And I said, when is it going to stop?
We found the couple and helped them to safety.
Oh my gosh!
They were wet but unharmed. Not long after they got out, the water on the Bayview South Extension kept rising.
Is that torrential rainfall that you're seeing? No. There's no torrential rainfall, but the water keeps rising. Reversing the drainage system. That's my guess.
Armed. Not long after they got out, the water on the Bayview South Extension kept rising. Their car was nearly swallowed up. This picture shows the water practically at their roof. Fire crews spent Tuesday rescuing others in similar circumstances, but they couldn't safely reach one man stuck on a small island on Etobicoke Creek.
We decided that we couldn't get this person off safely with just the fire and Marine Police, so it was decided to bring in the Army and the helicopter in from Trenton. They brought their rescuer down, made contact with the person stranded, and brought him up.
The rain has ended, but the headaches haven't. Thousands of homeowners still don't have power, like Bill Atherton.
It was supposed to be finished at noon today. It's not done yet.
Power outages hit homes and affected businesses. Many were hit hard by the storm. This auto dealership beside the Don Valley Parkway lost several exotic vehicles to flooding in its outdoor parking lot.
Exotic. I can't listen to this guy. Can't listen to it. I'll put the link in if anybody wants to watch the full broadcast. China is getting hit left and right. It is just amazing, considering how many times mainstream media talked about China and their weather modification technology and expanding their weather modification programs, and India coming out saying it's a threat to India. But hey, go with the climate change. Go with it.
A perfect storm of events began with the catastrophic failure of the Shilba River Dam, triggering devastating floods that swept through the region. As if this weren't enough, the already beleaguered city was further impacted by the collapse of a major bridge. To assist those affected and to mitigate further damage. Critical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and power lines, suffered significant damage, disrupting essential services and hindering relief.
How about Turkey?
Heavy rain in Karaman causes flooding in Turkey. Rain has turned roads and underpasses into lakes in some areas.
Come on.
Many houses He saved his wife at the last minute by breaking the window bars.
All over. And I'm going to post a link to this. I just came across it. But Florida is like the sinkhole state. And these sinkholes are causing people to lose their properties. Let's just listen to the first couple of minutes.
Those two buildings have concaved into one another. The archway is gone. Our floor is 50 feet underground.
When you think of sinkholes, sudden sinkholes, you might think of China because there's reports about roads collapsing, swallowing cars and people. You might think of Iceland recently, the little fishing town of Grindavik, where after a volcanic earthquake swarm with a magma intrusion underneath the town, all of a sudden sinkholes and cracks have opened. But would you think that there is a sinkhole alley in the United States, and that there is a sinkhole alley in one of the most popular states in the US, very famous tourist attraction? In Florida, guys, there is a sinkhole alley, and we're not talking about a little tiny area with little tiny sinkholes. We're talking about sudden sinkholes that swallow up people, cars, homes, businesses, large areas. And the scary thing is, if you look at that area from an aerial view and you see all these nice round ponds and lakes in the area, how do you think they were formed, guys? Sinkholes. And this is not something to scare you guys, but it's something I haven't known before. And it's kind of scary because it can happen at any time, anywhere in this area. And you're sitting in your office, in your home, or on your couch watching TV, and then your house or parts of your house gets swallowed up. And it's...
All right, so the link is in the chat. Floridians, you might want to watch this. Floridians probably know. 15 signs American families are flat broke. This is the first time that I've actually seen Epic Economist. Here we go. Just the first few minutes. The link is in the chat.
Small, necessary bills are paid. Necessary meaning lights, water, gas, insurance, rent. I'm not talking about Netflix or any of those wanted things.
As darkness shadows the American dream, more and more families are grappling with the harsh reality of financial distress.
I have to admit, I always thought that that was some automated voice. It's nice to find out it's not.
In 2024, an unprecedented number of Americans consider themselves broke, reflecting a widespread economic struggle. From the relentless surge of inflation to the crippling burden of debt, the signs of instability are everywhere. Now, optimism has vanished, giving way to a pervasive sense of despair that is forcing many households to make heartbreaking sacrifices just to stay afloat. As the cost of living continues to rise far faster than people's paychecks, new data reveals that a staggering number of American workers are coping with profound hardship. Today, we have compiled the most important stats that you need to know about this growing crisis that is weakening Americans' personal finances. Before moving on, please.
The link is in the chat again. Well, I've subscribed to Epic Economist on Never Lose Truth. Never Lose Truth 5. Okay. Yeah, you might want to, if you're not subscribed, you may want to check out the channel and subscribe. Might have, a rather, the presentation is a little bit too dramatic for you. Doesn't matter. Just try to listen to the content, because he puts out incredible content. And we're going down, man. We are going down fast. A whole lot of people are going down. A whole lot of people can't get back up. And here we go.
Your rent has gone up, and if you've looked on Zillow recently for relief, you've probably been bummed out. Got a bad case of the I can never move agains. You're not imagining it. A study finds that for the first time ever, rent is unaffordable for half of all U.S. renters. The study from Harvard finds rents went way up during COVID. Half of renters paying more than 30% of their income on rent. 25% of people pay more than 50% of their income on rent. The study author told NPR, even though rents have started to come down in some expensive areas, people most in need are not seeing a lot of relief. She says new apartments on average are more than $1,400 a month. Now remember, this is nationwide. She adds that millions of low-cost apartments have been wiped off the market. Average cost for an apartment in LA County is $2,700 a month, although that is down about $300 since last year. It is still nearly twice the national average.
What's a young college graduate to do?
Stay home.
Yeah.
Live at home.
I guess so.
Yeah.
ADU in the back. I mean,
But it's this should be no surprise because everything has gone up. Everything is super expensive, and with that,
So what?
you ask a landlord how much it costs them to get a sink fixed, to get the apartment re-cleaned and painted. Everything is through the roof.
Learn how to do it yourself.
There you go.
Especially if you're a homeowner.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, whoa. The commentators, are they journalists? Who are these people? Learn how to do it yourself. You don't know how much it costs to repair a sink and repaint stuff. Yes, we know. We're not that stupid. Come on now. It don't cost thousands of dollars monthly to repair a sink, to repaint a room. Like, what's going on, guys? That's not just like the simple cost of living. I know taxes went up, insurances went up, but we need discussions, humans to humans, between landlords and renters of why those costs are going up this way. Because there's so many examples right now on TikToks and different other platforms of people showing that their rent is going up crazy, but which high numbers with nothing being fixed in their apartments, with literally paying having the exact same apartments with no improvements at all. Some people with you don't know how much it costs to repair a sink and repaint stuff. Yes, we know. We're not that stupid. Come on now. It don't cost thousands of dollars monthly to repair a sink, to repaint a room.
I would have to disagree that $2,100 a month is damn cheap. And a lot of people have commented this, but it's just not true. So I'm going to explain why. The national average salary in the United States right now is $59,000, and $59,000 after taxes, your take home every month is about $3,800. So if you are a household or a single person living off of that one salary, that rent right there is more than half of what you're making. And that's just the average. So of course there's going to be people that are well below the average who cannot even afford a $2,100 rent that you guys are saying is cheap. Now, I'm not ungrateful at all. I'm blessed that we are able to afford this $2,100 of rent, which we got at this rate because we moved during COVID, during the height in 2020. We moved there in 2020 during the height of COVID, and they were having a really good deal because they were desperate to get people in. Now, unfortunately, that rent is about $3,000. But why are we normalizing? Why are we normalizing $2,100 a month of rent as being cheap when the majority of people in the United States don't even make enough to afford this type of rent? So many people have roommates. So many people who are families and have multiple children are living in an apartment instead of living in a house, which is what we are saving for. We're never going to own this apartment. We're all just throwing our money away, renting instead of buying. We have no buying power right now as millennials and as Gen Zers. Why aren't we able to afford to buy things like the generations before us did? How come we're the ones that are screwed? I was born and raised in California. It's not going to be possible for me to buy a home here because the average price of houses here, and these are old houses, like 1950s houses, is about $700,000. I thought I made decent money. Last year was the most I ever made, right? I thought that we would be able to afford a house. We're not going to be able to afford a house that's almost $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So I understand people saying $2,100 is cheap. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than other places, but we are all of us are being overcharged for rent, and these houses are insanely expensive, and there's like no chance of most people ever even being able to afford to buy a house in their lifetime. That's sad.
I completely agree with her.
And I agree with her. All right, so I just have to say one more time, please stop telling people, to not feel what they may be feeling, okay? Everybody is living very different experiences, very different circumstances. And I guarantee that those who say, oh, don't give in to the fear, don't feel this, don't, however they choose to express it, if they were facing being thrown out on the street, homeless, have no resources, no one at their back, they might be scared. In fact, I'm going to say they would be very scared. Okay? There is good reason why people are now scared. I'm scared every day. Never before have I been. No matter what my circumstances were, I was okay, I was okay, I was okay. I'm scared now. Because I can't get out of this circumstance. And it's killing me. Okay? When people tell people what they should be feeling, how they should be going about everything, and they're not living the circumstances that a whole lot are, it gets a little much. Plus the fact that when people see those kinds of comments, they get afraid to express themselves honestly. I've always wanted my channels, the comment section, the chat, to be a place where people can feel safe enough to express how they feel and what they're going through. Yes. And Luigi, you are perfectly able to do that. I was thinking of a word. I can't think of the word. But yes. So, things are getting very, very scary for a large percentage of people. So, let us, please, think about what we're going to be saying to them so we're not shutting them up. It helps to alleviate how they feel if they can talk about it and get it out. If they have to stuff it in, then it just bottles up and you make everybody worse. Let people just be what they are, be who they are. The fall of America, things just took a massive turn for the worse, okay? Things are not good, okay? Things are just not flippin' good.
That in just a little bit, but let's start off with this. If you are someone that follows this blog, nobody understands the current situation better than you do with regard to the financial markets, how cash moves through the system, and all its associated dynamics. Now, this morning, the US dollar is cratering. Look at the Dixie. It is down below 104 now. Is this a surprise to you or me? No. What you and I understand is going to happen to a much greater degree moving forward is massive dollar devaluation. And it goes beyond that too, people. Look, central banks, as you have been made aware of, right here, we've discussed this for 10 years. Central banks are on a mission to destroy the purchasing power of their currency. They're in a race to the bottom. I don't know another way to put this. I've said this for 10 years. And it's accelerating here. And it's going to accelerate much more, much faster moving forward. The phenomenon. There is a phenomenon going on here that people are maybe you get it. I get it. I understand that if you follow this blog. But who's buying all this debt? I mean, we're watching an epic occurrence here with regard to the debt market, the 10-year yield dropping. In other words, we're seeing a rally here in the debt market, which is profound. At the same time, we're witnessing stocks go higher, record. Just not stopping. Does it sound familiar to you? Okay, it should, because this is exactly what you and I have outlined here. And this presents opportunity, and I get that, and it's beautiful, and it's lovely, and it's fantastic. But again, the setup here is so revolting and so disgusting, leading up to a climax that people are going to be wiped out. And part of this is going to lead into the disturbing, what we heard about the Federal Reserve and what's in store for us all here come in, and I want to cover that. So let me just, again, look. This morning, stock futures are lower. Are we about to see a correction or a pullback in this market, people? We need this so bad. We've gone straight up for almost 8 weeks now. It's unnatural. Again, there's no real market here. You all know that. We're playing a game. We're playing a game that really is not that complicated. As a matter of fact, it couldn't be more easy. If we understand, you and me, that we are about to see massive dollar devaluation, currency devaluation moving forward, and nothing's going to stop it.
I will post the link. Nothing's going to stop it. A whole lot, and unfortunately, I'll speak for those in the chat, a whole lot are going to start experiencing the holy shit. You know? The dollar being devalued means that you're going to be paying more for things that you bought today. You will be paying a whole lot more. Things are going to get really bad. So, you know, I saw this comment from somebody in terms of, you know, buying a house. I would stay away from that. If you can rent a place and have, you know, your home stable, I would do that. I wouldn't, because they're going to start stealing homes. You know, property taxes are going to go up so high You know, the weather warfare is taking out so many homes. It's all of the taxes, mortgage rates. It's literally going to become impossible for an awful lot of people to stay in their homes. To stay in their homes. And I know a lot of the comfortable don't like hearing. Don't like hearing, really, how bad this is and how fast it is accelerating. They don't like to hear that other people are struggling. Well, sorry, but this is reality now, and this is life, and it ain't going to be getting any better, and that's why we desperately needed trustworthy, ordinary people to create community. We don't have it. We don't have it. And what really pisses me off is that an awful lot of people are enraged at all of the lying, the politicians, the mainstream media, I can't believe it, and they lie themselves. Oh, face the mirror. Working homeless people finding affordable housing in their cars on Long Island. Long Island. Wow. So I lived on Long Island, Nassau County, for my last year in junior high school and high school. I hated it, but for reasons that I'm not going to go into. There are pockets of Long Island that are really pretty poor, but on the whole, it's a middle-class island, right? And then the very wealthy, the Hampton parts of Long Island, the very wealthy in Manhasset and Port Washington, and there's a lot of very wealthy, there's a lot of wealth on Long Island. But mostly it's middle class, not anymore.
Good, that truck left. The landlord raised the rent to $360 a month. I couldn't afford to stay and I couldn't afford to leave. I was living in Smithtown. I was there for 9 years. I'm trying to find new ways to make money because that's the only way I can think of to get out of the situation. This is where I would stay just to stay calm and keep my focus, carry on, as they say. I wasn't going into a shelter. I was much more comfortable staying in my own car. I would take my pillow and I would just curl up in bed like this, and this is how I slept, not knowing when or how I was going to get out of this. When I went to work, I would just go to either a friend's house for a shower, or I would go to a gym, an extra blanket for when it was cold. This thing really helped. I lost weight just because I didn't want to eat, because if I ate, I had to go to the bathroom. I had no place to go. And what I find most interesting is people will take an animal in before they take a human being in. You'd be surprised how the survival skills kick in. It's a domino effect, you know, one thing happens, your credit score is shot, everything goes up, there's no way out. It can happen to anyone. I spent hours and hours on phone calls trying to get help, and it just doesn't seem to be much help out there. If someone would have told me when I was in high school that I would be homeless one day, I would probably think they were crazy.
Oof. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand the knockdown effect, right? And in our country now, you have one event that knocks you down, try to recover, and it's incredibly difficult now. Incredibly difficult. That's why you need strong families that actually operate like family, as family should. You take care of one another. And unfortunately, we have an awful lot of people who are really so morally disturbed that they can't even do that. No, not everybody is alcoholic or drug addicted. I hate what's going on. I hate it.
I paid $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, 750 square foot apartment, and I posted an apartment tour a couple days ago, and I am floored by the amount of comments saying that that is a good.
Worse for us. Just goes to show.
What the hell is going on with my... What is going on? Don't like it.
$1,000 a month. I have absolutely no idea. That is just not okay. That is 1 month's pay for me. That is my whole entire monthly paycheck for rent. Luckily, I don't have to pay it by myself, because how in the world is somebody supposed to ever live on their own anymore when you have to make 3 times the rent, and rent is insanely expensive? Nobody can afford that. Nobody can get approved for that. For my little tiny crappy apartment, you'd have to make $72,000 a year to be approved on your own without a cosigner or a roommate or anybody else. How is that ever supposed to happen? It's not. So no, it's not a good deal. I will never think that that is a good deal.
Remember when apartment complexes used to have to tell you why they was raising the rent? Yeah, they used to have to tell you why. They couldn't just raise it because they felt like it with no explanation. I remember my mother would get a letter to what they were changing it to and the reason for the change. Now they just send you a random email like, hey, get ready to adjust your budget. Shit about to get different. Apartments was always supposed to be a stepping stone to a house. That's what you did before you got a house so you can save up. It's supposed to be the cheaper alternative to a house. Buying groceries is supposed to be the cheaper alternative to eating out. Now you can't even tell the difference. You can't tell where you saving. You like, hold on, my rent is more than my mama's mortgage. Hold on, we spent the same amount of money on groceries this month as we did last month when we was eating out every day. We always want to go down there and have a meeting with the people in the office like they changed our fucking rent. Like the lady sitting at that desk down there changed the damn rent. She don't know. She don't have a fucking clue why they changed this rent. All she do is answer calls and check emails. Leave her alone. It's just crazy how all these corporations, these businesses, these brands, if they just want a little bit more money than they had last year, it's nothing for them to go up on their shit without blinking. It's nothing for them to make your favorite shoe $5 more. Make all your favorite groceries $1 or $2 more. Make your rent $100 more. They didn't make enough money last year. They got to go up. And since the businesses went up, the companies went up, now the entrepreneurs have to go up. So now your nail tech adding $15, your barber adding $15, your hairdresser adding $15. They got to keep up too, right? So you trying to keep up with all the changes, and meanwhile you got a 25-cent raise. And Dollar Tree took that from you. That's why I don't understand people that get mad at other people that learned how to finesse the government or get over on the system. It's like the system is getting over on you. The government is fucking you. How are you getting mad at somebody that figured it out? Don't get mad that they found a way to get some extra food stamps or not have to pay as much in taxes. The system is fucking us all over. They just figured it out. Don't get mad at them. Because I swear to God, if you see me in the self-checkout line and all my groceries come out to the same price as grapes, mind your business. Mind your business. A side hustle used to be an option. Getting a side hustle used to be something that people did to make extra money, extra spending money, to go, you know what I'm saying, just have a little pocket change to go do something with, have some fun with. Now that shit is mandatory. What are you doing on the side to stay afloat? What is your second job? What is your second and third source of income to barely just make it by? What is it? You gotta have one. Anyway. Yeah.
America.
Laurie Smith, since you would, what did you say? I want to read the exact words. I wouldn't mind living in streets. Thrift store gives away free food, no bills. Okay. Give up your apartment to somebody who doesn't want to live on the streets, okay? If you wouldn't mind it. Sacramento County Library evacuated after bomb threat. Library evacuations? Are you kidding me? What?
We have some breaking news happening right now in Sacramento. A library has been evacuated for a suspicious item. This is happening on Watt Avenue near Northrop Avenue. Livecopter 3 Take a Look is over the scene right now, showing you what's going on. Sheriff's deputies say a man apparently walked into the library and then told an employee that he had a bomb. That's when everything got frantic. Deputies cleared the library to look for what the person may have left behind. They have marked off the library with crime scene tape as they are investigating. As we're zooming in, can't really show you any of that, but that is what's going on in the library. The man who
in the library. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. All right. Well, this is our country. Isn't it fabulous? Isn't it wonderful? Look at what has manifested. Oh, and we're all part of the manifestation. What is this? JWTV. I'll put the link in. I'm just going to play a few minutes and jump to what he posted here in this video, which is very important as far as I'm concerned. Oh, it's right in the beginning. Maybe I don't have to jump. If you have the resources, unfortunately, a lot of people talk about shoring up their door, their entranceways, or their garage. You also have to make sure, unfortunately, your windows. It's very hard now to protect yourself, but you do what you can if you have the money to do it.
In details about potential attacks that can happen. And they've been talking about this all year with multiple line scenarios. Now they don't know right now when FEMA will send out their emergency alert for 2024. They say, well, they're determining whether they want to do it in 2024 or 2025. However, I have tips for you that's going to be very helpful, because there's two scenarios that can happen. We could have an actual emergency alert sent out, and it could be potentially hacked. And if that's the case where it's potentially hacked, then you need to have some protocols ready, because they did this recently and we could be getting fake messages as well. What would you do in that scenario? Now, in that scenario, obviously there's two things you could do. One, you can check on your wind up radio. If you have a wind up radio, it ain't the most quiet thing, but with this wind up radio, it never dies. You can find the stations on there and you can confirm whether that's real or not. Two, you can find your local ham radio operators and you can find out what's happening there. So that's how you would confirm that. The first line to this scenario, though, would be to not panic and to actually take deep breaths, to be calm. And your first line of defense is going to be where? Your front door. And so the first thing you should do is start securing your surroundings. We got a couple of tips for you to secure your surroundings. This is something you should know right now. The first thing is you got these door stoppers, and you basically can take them out. You can put them in, and they go up to about 3,000 pounds. Now, if you want to look up more or different types, you can look past 3,000 pounds. If you need more than 3,000 pounds, by all means, go look up something that's 5,000 pounds. However, we're going to give you more door security enforcement where you can put this bar across your door, and all the stuff I'm mentioning, by the way, is like under $100. Door security bar, you can put that on the door as well to secure your door and secure it at the floor. So you got two levels of security here And that's going to really help you out in this big oncoming scenario. Door security bar, barricade, brackets, kit, set door, stopper, home defense security devices for front door. You pause the video, you look at that, you write it down, and then you put it on your list. Because what else would you want to do in this nationwide alert being sent out? Because they got false flags ready for us. So we should be prepared in ways that houses been getting hit in the most common more than recently. So what else? You know, you got these little spikes you can implement, and you can put these spikes on top. I personally don't think these are good. I think these would be better, and it's easy install. Anybody can install them. You get them and you put them on top of your fence. They can even be installed into concrete as well, as you see the example right here on screen. So what would you do in this scenario? Soon as they get the alert out, or actually you want to have this done before the alert, let's be honest. You put this all around your fence perimeter. You make sure you secure your area, because the first thing that's going to need to be done is you're going to need to secure your area location. Now, let's say you're a last minute person and you want to like kind of shield yourself, but it's not really going to do that much. Like this little metal barricade that expands, you can get a little metal barricade expand just to give you a little bit of time, basically, if you have to deter somebody from trying to come in. So this would be something that's very important too to look into, because this is going.
I'll post the link again, but to tell you the truth, you know, from what I've been seeing, that doesn't seem to be much to deter. But hey, look at Babe. Hey, hey, hey. And Cecilia, who is in a borough of New York City. The winds are kicking up. Oh, yes. Look at what you've got. Yep. Here's Long Island. Look at the frequencies. Are you in an apartment building or a house? Not good. Not good. Everything is going on every single day now. Silent Walk, everything. It is amazing. You know, when you actually see the big picture, it is scary. Sorry, it's scary. When you see how many people are suffering the consequences, and you know that you don't know all of those who are suffering the consequences, not that you don't know them personally, I'm just what you do know, and then everything that you don't know, they're coming after everyone. Yeah, it's and then you look at this. Then you look at this. Oh, Biden has COVID. Oh, he's thinking of, actually, what did it, there was, oh, see, I need to take captures of this, because he said he'd consider dropping out over any medical condition. Like he doesn't have them already? Really? Oh, but now he's diagnosed with COVID, and he canceled a speaking engagement. Oh, yeah, it's the game. It's the stupid, immature game that is played in front of our faces every single day and night. 65 years of this. Baby boomers, can't you see the game? That they're playing you? I guess not. I guess not. So, here, I'm just going to play a few minutes of this. RFK Jr., leaks phone call with Trump. All right. You want to talk repeat? Another repeat? Trump, RFK Jr., remember? Before the election in 2016, he met with RFK Jr., or he might have met with RFK Jr. right after he won. And he was talking about those products being unsafe. Remember Trump talking about setting up a commission on vaccine safety? Did he ever do it? Trumpers, did he ever do it? You're being played. Now you're being played, and it's a repeat of pretty much the same story. Holy shit. I just am amazed at how many awake people are supporting Trump. It's because they don't want to do anything. So they look out, I just have to vote. I'm voting for the good guy. I'm voting for my savior. And they know full well. They know full well what they're doing. It's unbelievable.
But here's a leaked phone call. Apparently, RFK Jr. says he's mortified that this leaked. He blamed it on his videographer. People online are speculating that it's his son. I have no idea who leaked it, but President Trump called Bobby Kennedy, and he wanted to talk mostly, it sounded like, at least from the clip that was released online, childhood vaccinations and how President Trump thinks that too many are being given to kids.
Well, same old, same old, same old, same old. This is what he was talking during his campaign, 2016. This is exactly the same thing. I cannot believe. And so many people will just go, oh, thank God. And the same people will say, thank God. Not getting. He didn't do anything. He did not do anything. What he did was unleash Operation Warp Speed that killed a lot of people and permanently disabled a whole lot. Has he ever taken responsibility? Has he ever even acknowledged the damage from that? No. But vote for him. Go, Trumpers. Yeah, MAGA.
And, you know, it's not really clear because the phone call cuts off, but it seems like Trump is trying to kind of get Bobby behind him. I don't know if he's trying to get him to drop out or just in general. It's not very clear, like I said, because the whole phone call was not leaked. But here's the clip I saw on social media, and I definitely thought it was interesting to start off the show. Let's look.
I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system. And, you know, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that has like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this. And do you ever see the size of it, right? You know, it's this massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do something. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. You know, we're way ahead of the guy. And, you know, he's interesting. It was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? Because, you know, so I guess that's, people say, you know, if I was looking straight up, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country. But no, I just turned my head to show the chart. And something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going around. You know, what do they call that, an AR-15 or something? That was a big gun. It was a
Bullshit, it wasn't an AR-15. But really? 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 People are going to be listening to that? Again? Again. I don't get people. I really don't understand them. It sounds exactly like Trump. And he's just same script. Same script. Didn't do anything the first time. He's not going to do anything this time. It's sickening. It is so sickening to listen to the liars and have so many Americans that just obviously don't care or just are into believing all of these lies. Rah, rah, rah. Look at all, oh, he's saying everything I want to hear. Look at what he's done. No, won't look at what he's done. God, it's Iran. Now they're saying it was Iran behind the BB gun. I mean, okay. I'll post the link to this. You can watch it. But, yeah, Americans will fall for anything. They really will. They're just, you know, their brains are gone. But this here, Green Beret says, don't listen to the media. Well, everybody should not be listening to the media, but let's listen to this Green Beret. Okay?
Here's a Green Beret, Special Forces sniper. Here's what he has to say about all this.
Hi, my name is Matthew Murphy, and I am a retired Green Beret, retired from the Special Forces group, but I'm also a level 1 sniper, which means that I have graduated the highest level of training for snipers that you can do in special operations. We're trained them to avoid confidential or classified terminology. We're trained in assassinations and counter assassinations for the very reason, case in point, yesterday, the shooting of President Donald Trump. So, first of all, anywhere the president's going to go, there are teams from the Secret Service that go out days, if not weeks, if not months, before the president will ever be at that spot. And they do a site security assessment. And they do that with local police forces and agencies to ensure that every potential security threat or vulnerability is secured and, of course, protected against. Now, this is done way before Donald Trump will ever get there, and they know every place that the president will be, and the sniper team especially is responsible for ensuring that no one can take a shot at the president. Now, that does not mean that the sniper team just sets up with their guns and scans the crowd and shoots. No, what they do, the most important thing they do, pre-Donald Trump showing up, is within a 360-degree environment of that podium of the president, they ensure that there is not a place that is open that will be accessible by someone with a rifle to take a shot at the president. So they make sure those places are barricaded off, inaccessible, and heavily guarded, so there is no way you are going to get to the place where you can even shoot the president with a rifle before the president shows up.
And here's another piece of information. MSNBC reported that they had identified that very roof that guy, that shooter was on, as a problem. They had, the day before, they identified it. And so what he's saying is, you're supposed to have that completely secured. No one's supposed to be able to go in and out, especially a kid with a rifle. Okay.
Don't we know it? Come on. Don't we know it? I mean, all of these events are staged. All of these events are just to manipulate the American people. Now it's the manipulation of the red team, get them all excited. You know, fight, fight, fight. And somebody pointed out, FFF is 666. You know, look, this is what we have to live. I cannot believe it. I'm kind of like, I can't believe it. I am, I don't understand people. I will never. But really, I'm just down here to observe. You know, I have to meet up my spaceship and go back to my planet because I just don't feel like I belong here. I'll put the link in. You can listen to more of this. But it's obvious, you know, that they wanted this to go off. A whole lot of the red team believe that, oh, they wanted to take, that's what they want you to believe. Get those Democrats. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And you have to wonder, you listen to people and you know they are so heavily indoctrinated that, you know, in real life, when I used to meet up with people and they were heavily indoctrinated, I didn't bring up anything. There was no point. There was no point. There was no point in stepping into something to upset myself. So I learned. And I am somebody who is very, you know, I want to know my audience before I might say something. And no, I'm not like this. The 2 hours that you see me, I'm not like this for the remaining 22. No, the heat is really killing me here. I don't like it at all. But there's heat. You know, I heard that in Northern California, like a town next to Paradise, it's been over 100 degrees, where it really should be probably in the 80s. This is not city, you know, Los Angeles. So the heat has been, I've been kind of, wow, man, they can really do it up. Large scale heat. Apparently it's going to be cooling off a little bit, but I think they're going to be bringing it back. I don't think other people should be naming other people who have homes and that they might be renting out a room. Leave it up to the people leave it up to the people to do that, okay? That's really important. And frankly, at this point, what I've seen out there, and I've said this before, and it's, you know, not good, you know, what I'm going to say from my circumstance, but I would be very, very, very careful about who you choose to bring into your home. At this point, be very careful. And unfortunately, meeting people in the cyber world, be very careful, because a lot of people are crazy. They present as okay for a time being. They're crazy. And unfortunately for those who are needing a place, a whole lot of crazy, and well, it's been my experience, you know, you trigger their issues and boom, they kick you out. They make your circumstances worse. So for both parties, anybody who's in need to rent out a room, be careful. Those who are renting the room, be careful. Yeah, the condition of the American people sucks. We're not in good shape. So be very careful. Yeah. Things are bad. But look at how utterly insane is the thinking of this woman.
Absolutely. You guys are out here on the heels of the attempted Trump assassination. Can I get your reaction to what happened the other day?
Well, it's a shame the person missed, but it's ironic that the shooter was also a Republican, and I am scared about political violence.
You're scared of political violence, but you were hoping that he wouldn't have missed.
Yes.
Wow. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, many people are thankful that the shooter missed and could have led to a lot of conflict in the country.
Regardless if Trump is in power or not, he has a lot of influence, and that makes him a very dangerous person, and nothing will stop. And we want to live, and sometimes... Thomas Jefferson wrote a letter that included one of my favorite quotes, that sometimes the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Do you hope to see others also, if all that holds true, do you want to see others try what this young man tried at this Trump rally?
I don't know if it would do any good.
Okay, interesting, yeah. I see you have a crossbow over here. Can you tell me a little bit more about it and why you decided to bring it here? You have I don't know what it is. It looks like a crossbow.
Yeah, it's a pistol crossbow. I don't like firearms. This is a much safer alternative, and it's used only for personal defense as an absolute last resort.
Wow.
I hope I never have to use it.
Why did you feel compelled to bring it here? Do you feel unsafe?
Very much so. I'm absolutely terrified to be here.
I had one last question for you since it caught my eye. I see you have a hammer and sickle tattoo. Can you tell me more about this tattoo?
I was born in the Soviet Union. I was brought here when I was a little kid, but it's just a symbolism of where I came from. No, I do not support Russia. No, I don't condone anything that it does or that Putin has done. I would consider myself more of a socialist, but it's just a symbol of where I was born.
She doesn't look old enough to be born in the Soviet Union. And so she has a crossbow because she doesn't believe in firearms. But it's only for her personal, self-defense, which is what firearms are for. Okay. Did you hear that kind of thinking? It's so warped that when you think about all of the people who have that kind of thinking, how could we possibly get anywhere? She thinks she's a patriot, right? Oh. Cecilia, I didn't think that you had a 4-bedroom apartment, so it's fine, whatever. And no, I don't think people should be offering places in your place. And do I want to be in New York City? No. Even though New York is my hometown. I know what it's like now. So, yeah. 2 Americans walking down the street and talking about politics. Let's just listen 3 minutes, okay? But it really, it shows how split we are. That we can split off at an incredible evil taking place and children being killed, amputated without anesthesia, starved to death. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And we seem to ignore it. A whole lot of people will say, what can we do about it? Feel it. Try to get other people to talk about it. Scream about it. I don't know.
2 Americans walking down the street and talking about politics. Man, that assassination thing with Trump was so freaky, said Carl while stepping over a woman in a hijab clutching a dead child to her chest. I know, man. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, said Steve, nimbly leapfrogging a large puddle of blood. He's definitely got the election in the bag after that one, right? Carl asked as the two strolled casually down the sidewalk through mountains of gore and human suffering. He's gotta, replied Steve. Did you see that epic photo of him with his fist raised and his face all bloody underneath the American flag? You couldn't make a better campaign ad if you tried. A skeletal young girl approached them with hands outstretched, urgently speaking to them in Arabic. The two ignored the child and walked on. Man, he's gonna run this country into the ground, said Carl, sidestepping a screaming man holding a headless baby. Oh no, the woke mob got to you, exclaimed Steve, holding his nose as they passed a decomposing corpse being gnawed at by a stray dog. What? I've always preferred Democrats, shouted Carl over the sound of machine gun fire and anguished cries. I come from a long line of Dems. But Trump is just what this country needs right now, objected Steve, shielding his face from the heat of a burning hospital. What about your kids? Do you want them learning about butt plugs from some drag queen at the library? You gonna let the government force your son to wear a dress and use female pronouns? Ah, Christ, man, that's just some dumbass conspiracy crap, said Carl, stepping over a small burning body. And anyway, Trump's literally a secret agent working for Russia. That's just propaganda from the liberal media, replied Steve, disentangling his foot from a dead woman's intestines. They're trying to start a war with Russia to distract us from preparing for war with our real enemy, China. Sounds like you're the one who's propagandized, said Carl, moving out of the way of a crying man holding 2 plastic bags full of body parts. You probably get all your news from RT and Alex Jones. No way, I do my own research, mostly on 4chan, said Steve as they dodged around emaciated children approaching them with empty bowls. Well, I hope he doesn't suck too bad, said Carl, covering his ears at the sound of an explosion. Either way, this is going to be a brutal presidential race. That we agree on, said Steve. Fuck, man. It's going to be like the only thing on the news 24/7 for the next few months. Yeah, but what the hell, said Carl. It's not like there's anything else going on in the world that's particularly newsworthy anyway.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on in the world, and I just wish that Americans could maybe take in a little bit more, or maybe not be so, it's like a obsession with the Democrats and the Republicans and the election, and it's going to be going on 24/7 for the next couple of months. Meanwhile, what is the U.S. and the U.K. doing overseas? What? Let me just see if I can find that one here.
Israel's war on Gaza is made in America and made in Britain. Israel's war on Gaza is made in America and made in Britain. British companies supply Israel with targeting equipment, with armored personnel carriers, with parts for helicopters and naval ships, and parts for military jets. Israel has 2 squadrons of F-35 jets. 15% of the F-35's component parts are supplied to Israel by Britain, America's #1 partner in the project. Each jet can carry up to 9 tons of bombs and missiles. That's 9 tons. For Israel, the F-35 is the crown jewel in their Western military aid. For the people of Gaza, it's an instrument of slaughter. The British government has a responsibility under international law to end that slaughter now. It has rejected that responsibility. In the Netherlands, the export of F-35 component parts to Israel is now illegal. In the UK, it's normal business practice. Global Legal Action Network and Al-Haq have challenged the British government in the High Court. Let's support their fight. Let's end Britain's role in killing Palestinians.
And is that possible? Yeah. Will it happen? Will it happen? It's up to the people. Yeah. It's up to the people. She can't go in because of this.
If I was wearing an American flag or an English flag or a Ukrainian flag, you would not ask me to remove it. That would be considered offensive. If I was wearing a rainbow flag or a pride flag, you wouldn't stop me. No, you wouldn't.
Oh wow, the mic wasn't on. Psychopaths are all around. She's got to remove that Palestinian flag that she's got to enter the restaurant. And she's absolutely right. If she was wearing an American flag, if she was wearing a flag of Ukraine, she could get in. Palestine, no. Remove it. That manager or the owner of the restaurant, psychopath. So many people have chosen to be psychopaths, to be sick, morally corrupted human beings. I'm going to go that road. It's not just government officials. It's not just mainstream media reporters. The ordinary. And boy, do they need to be called out. Years from now, students will study the Palestinian genocide and wonder, how did no one stop this? Repeat, repeat. Yeah. Gaza now has the largest amount of child amputees in history. It's hard to take, huh? It is for me. It is for me. You know? That's
ايش في ليش شكل حنفضح عرضهم
It was just, I mean, tell him to disrobe and then beat him up. Where is that, Here. So it's 6:50. I'm going to play this. And, yeah, these are the crazy people, congresswomen and congressmen, that we have in Congress who don't give a shit about anything but their own power. Do we need a revolution? Oh shit, yeah. Could we possibly have one? No. Because the ordinary Americans are so screwed up. So many are still so stuck in the matrix, believing that we have two parties, that they have different policies. Has anything ever gotten better? Whether it's a Republican or president a Republican president or a Democrat president? Oh yeah, when Trump was in, everything was better. Really? Okay, I have a Trump playlist. You can see what he actually did, as opposed to just listening to what he says. And he always, oh, the bravado of that guy. I'm the best in the world. I brought this in 6 months, man. In 6 months. He turned the economy around and made it the best in 50 years. You notice when Biden comes in, he said the exact same thing. Okay. Yeah. So let's listen to this.
Congresswoman, how are you feeling about the visit of somebody who's been accused of war crimes? Is that
Netanyahu, is coming on the 24th? On the 24th? And everybody in Congress is going to bow down to Netanyahu? Okay.
appropriate for the U.S. Congress to invite somebody who's been accused of war crimes by the International Criminal Court? Do you recognize the International Criminal Court? Yeah, well, on the street. You probably supported it when they went after Putin, right? You are a public official. It would be nice if you engaged in something like that.
Whoa! I don't talk to insane people. Insane people. That's what that woman said. How disgusting is that woman? Revolting.
And why do I say? Because I want to see an end to the killing of all of these children in Gaza. Does your heart not go out to the children of Gaza who are being amputated without anesthesia, who are now being starved? And you think that's insane? I think it's rather heartless to not have any concern for the 15,000 children who've been killed. What if they were Israeli children? What if 15,000 Israeli children have been killed? Would that be something you would speak out against? What if they were Israeli children? What if Israeli children were being amputated with no anesthesia? Would that be something you'd be concerned about?
Does having empathy make you insane? Is that what you're suggesting?
Does having empathy make you insane? That is a good question. Or does getting AIPAC money and being in this Congress make you insane? I think that's probably more insane than caring about children, which is natural.
How utterly disgusting. How utterly disgusting. Wow. Oh, unbelievable, man. It is truly, we are a very sick country. We are truly a very sick country. So, yeah. All right, so Israel is collapsing. 46,000 businesses forced to close since October 7. 60,000 businesses will be closed by the end of 2024. This war is not good for Israelis, not good for Palestinians, and sure as hell is not good for the soul of the good old Americans. Not good. But I'm just going to play a few. I may even play this out. It's only 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes left. So listen.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is coming to speak to Congress July 24th on a bipartisan invitation from the leadership of both parties in both chambers of Congress. This invitation is so deeply insulting to every single person in this country, it's really hard to know where to start. Netanyahu's going to pressure Congress for more money, more weapons, to continue to defy international law in support of Israel's genocide, and maybe even to send our sons and daughters to die for Israel in a regional war with Iran. And Congress knows that's what he wants. They want that to happen. They want to give him even more of your taxes to blow up more hospitals and schools in Palestine. But let's also remember the fact that this is happening at a time when almost 2/3 of people in this country are living paycheck to paycheck. It's happening at a time when the leading cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt. Test scores in American schools are hitting the lowest level in decades. There's an illiteracy crisis in this country, not just among kids, but adults. Cities across America continue to be decimated by globalization and neoliberal free trade. Our infrastructure is among the worst in the developed world. And last year, the US suicide rate hit an all-time high. But what's Congress concerned about? That they haven't given enough of our money to Israel. Congress has already committed over $20 billion to Israel in the last 9 months and covers for their genocide at every single step. But that apparently isn't enough for them. So now they've decided to invite the architect of the genocide to make the highest lawmaking body in this country his captive audience. But that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is that the International Criminal Court may very soon issue an arrest warrant for Netanyahu, in which case Congress would be harboring an internationally wanted criminal. Congress would be legally obligated to arrest Netanyahu, but the United States itself refuses to sign on to the Rome Statute and refuses to recognize the authority of the ICC. In fact, in 2002, the US passed a law which got the nickname the Hague Invasion Act, where it gave itself the authority to use, quote, all means necessary and appropriate to bring about the release of any US or allied personnel being detained or imprisoned by, on behalf of, or at the request of the International Criminal Court. And when the ICC started going after Netanyahu, members of Congress wrote a letter to the ICC threatening to impose severe sanctions on the court's leaders if they issued an arrest warrant, and that such an action would be interpreted as a threat not only to Israel's sovereignty, but to America's sovereignty. It's been reported that Netanyahu's traveling with a much smaller delegation than usual because if he brings more people on his plane, they'll have to stop to refuel. And if they refuel in any country that's part of the ICC, that government would be obligated to arrest him. So his plan to fly directly to the United States is literally based on the fact that he knows that the United States is the only state he can safely travel in. So just to recap, Congress won't do anything about healthcare. They won't do anything about student debt. They're perfectly happy to ignore the housing crisis that's raging in every city in America. But shielding an internationally wanted war criminal is a hill they're willing to die on. And let's just remember who these people are. They're not workers. They don't do or make anything. Their job is being politicians. And most of them are millionaires. Literally the 1%. 9/10 of them are just mouthpieces for the last lobbyists to take them out to lunch. They're criminals. They're white-collar criminals. They're just as guilty as this war criminal they're inviting to Congress. Hell, half of them are making money off of his genocide. They're parasites that only live to serve themselves. So this isn't just a Palestine issue. It's not just an Arab issue or a Muslim issue. This is an issue for all Americans. Because one of the many things that this genocide in Gaza has shown us is that our so-called representatives abdicated their responsibility a long time ago. They have more loyalty to their criminal friends overseas than they do to their own constituents, to the point where they'd sooner harbor them from facing a trial for genocide than listen to us. Since Congress has decided to protect this criminal, dozens of organizations have declared that they're going to unite at the Congress to attempt to arrest Netanyahu in a massive protest at Capitol Hill in DC on July 24th. People are organizing buses from all across the country to go down, so it's probably going to be huge. And even if you can't make it, you should share this video so people know it's happening and maybe someone else will take your place. The last time Netanyahu came to Washington, he received constant standing ovations from Congress, both Democrat and Republican. Now they want to honor him again as he butchers Gaza and stands as the main impediment to a ceasefire to create the illusion that he's some respectable leader. Netanyahu is anything but a respectable leader. He's an international pariah that's trying to overcome his global isolation by visiting Congress. This protest will make it absolutely clear that the politicians who invited him don't represent us, just the elite corporate donors cutting their checks.
The link is in the chat. Circulate, never too late. But no difference between Netanyahu and an awful lot of them in Congress. And don't think that this is Israel's war. This is the US-UK-Israel war against a people that are so vulnerable. This is not just, this is inviting a guy to speak to the American people also, and he is a psychopathic madman, slaughtering children, killing them, starving them, and starving adults. Where are the people's voices on this? All right. We do our best, right? Tomorrow's going to be hell here. They're doing the roof. It's not going to be fun. I guess I'm moving this weekend. I am so... But I'm going to keep a lot of what I have open. And I don't know if they're still going to be at it at 5. My hunch is that they will. They're starting at 5:30. You got to start very early in the morning here because of the heat. By 7 o'clock, already, it consumes you to the point where you just can't be outside. I can't. I don't know what the hell is the air in Arizona. I don't think there's much oxygen in it. Nothing revitalizes, rejuvenates. It's kind of stagnant. Even as the wind comes, it feels like you have a heater blowing on you. But something, the atmosphere here, as far as I'm concerned, it's the worst I've ever experienced. Sorry to, if you take that personally, Arizonans, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you're just used to it, but wow, it's very different than anything I've ever experienced. Maybe it's this heat dome, but anyway, yeah, get out there, help people, help. There's a lot of people who are suffering, right? Help. Help the food pantries, help the animal shelters. That's within our control. All right? And live honestly, speak honestly. Establish yourself as a trustworthy human being. And I don't speak those words lightly every night. That's the only thing. That is the only thing that will manifest a better world. Of course, we need it in the aggregate. A whole lot of people think they do and they don't because they've never done the work necessary to get them, to live honestly and speak honestly. So that it is absolutely one of the main causes of the nightmare that we're living. And if you don't see that we've all been part of the manifestation here, you're lost. So, all right. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. We'll see if I can actually do anything because of the roofers. Stay safe. Be very aware of your surroundings. Okay. On that note, I say good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.